relaxed hours in general because I was approving previous pay period hours.
And the conversation occurred Monday night. Is that it?
Conversation occurred at 9:17 a.m.
Okay, that was in the morning. Did you talk to him at all any other part of Monday?
Talked to him at 10:11, 10:11, 10:12, 10:13, 10:15.
Okay. So he was pretty responsive on Monday. Would that be accurate?
It was a text message exchange.
And did you try to reach out to him again at any point during the week of May 11th?
I did not.
And then on May 12th, I wrote down your testimony. You said, Bob said his dad is coming to take him to the hospital. That's what Bob told you?
Yeah, that's what Bob told me.
Okay. If his dad was coming to the hospital, wouldn't he need to take leave?
I would sure think that if my dad was driving 10 hours to take me to the hospital, I would have 10 hours to let somebody know that I needed leave.
And you and Bob decided yourself it was not an emergency. Is that correct? You guys talked it through?
No, I speculated that it wasn't an emergency. I didn't know what was going on the first conversation. I said, well, Bob, if his dad's going to drive that far, that many hours, it can't be an emergency. I knew it wasn't an emergency after Bob had said he had talked with him and he said he was going to turn his dad around and he was going to sleep it off and they would circle up in the morning.
Sure. And then from my notes here, it said Bob told him to stop drinking. Is that accurate?
I don't think he gave him a direct, you need to stop drinking. I think the comment was you need to stop drinking. It's going to ruin your life.
And then FMLA paperwork was received Thursday. That's correct?
I believe so, yes.
No further questions.
I don't have anything else, unless the commission body has any redirect.
Well,
Hearing
just to clarify, you were asked if, you were asked if Cody was gonna, if Cody's dad was coming to get him and take him to the hospital. It was yes, but after Bob spoke with Cody, Bob was assured that he was gonna turn his dad around and they were gonna talk in the morning, correct?
Correct. That's what I was told.
That's our case in chief. So we'll pass to Mr. Sprout for his.
Thank you. I would call Chief Cody Hallin. Can you hear me, Cody?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Okay, Cody, do you swear or affirm that the facts and statements you will provide to the commission are true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief under pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
State your name for the record.
Cody Hallin,
And what position are you currently employed in?
Chief of Police for Tioga Police Department.
And how long have you been chief?
I got promoted in November, so roughly 7 months.
Can you generally describe the circumstances you were managing during the week of May 11th?
Yeah, so May 11th, I mean, the cat's out of the bag. I've struggled with alcohol for about 4 or 5 months now. It's not something I'm proud of. It's actually something I'm very embarrassed about. It's not fun feeling the way I feel at times. I don't understand why I'm this way. So May 11th came. I volunteered to take one of my guys' shifts that ended up having to miss some time. I knew deep down that night shift was probably going to bring me some problems. because what brought me to drinking first was the boredom of night shifts, sitting on the couch, drinking, watching TV, stuff like that. So I kind of had a feeling that night shift was going to bring me some issues.
So not to interrupt too much here, Cody, but so when you work night shifts, would you usually be responding from your own home or the station, or how did it usually go?
I'd respond from the station, or I would be on call after 2 a.m. for like the last 8 months, I guess. We'd go home at 2 a.m.
And you'd respond from your home while you're on call, is that
Yeah.
correct?
Correct.
Can you tell me more about, I guess, the circumstances of the night of May 11th in your shift?
Yeah, so May 11th, I was struggling, um, just kind of struggling, I guess, with myself. More upset with myself than anything. I had tensions going to work. I started driving to work. I clocked in. I broke down. I was like, I cannot keep doing like this. I can't keep going like this. So I turned around, never even put myself on the board. I clocked in and I went home, and I meant to put myself on call. And I ended up staying up till 4 a.m. waiting for a call in case a call came out. A call never came out for me to respond to. It turns out that I was never actually even put on the board to be on call. So yeah, that's what happened May 11th.
You didn't intentionally put yourself off the board, though, is that correct?
Not intentionally, no. I had intentions to be on call.
And you were planning to respond to emergencies if they arose?
Correct. There's been multiple times where I'll get called out in the middle of the night without even being on call. Dispatch will call me, an officer will call me, things like that. So it's not out of the nature for me to be called out in the middle of the night.
And can you describe any discrepancies in your time card for around that time?
Yeah, the discrepancy was that I clocked in and did not clock out or put myself on call.
And did that end up getting fixed the next day?
Well, it got kind of fixed, yeah, but I planned on fixing it later on once I got kind of the stuff that I was going through figured out.
And can you walk me through your day on May 12th and what occurred?
Yeah, so May 12th, I mean, what do you want to know? Just like contact with people type of stuff?
Yeah, contact with people, what shifts you were scheduled to cover, how that went.
Again, I was set to schedule or set to again cover the night shift. At this time, I talked to my parents. They were like, Cody, you can't keep going on like this. It's enough. You got to do something. So I made some phone calls. I have a call history that I worked through for Tuesday, and I made approximately, I gotta pull it up. Where did it go?
Well, Cody, I think at this time, we put together kind of a list of various communications from you and your mother that occurred the week of May 11th. You're familiar with that?
I'm sorry, I couldn't. What was that?
You recall the exhibit we put together for communications from you and your mother to various city officials for the week of May 11th?
Correct.
And that was a true and accurate representation of text messages and calls you made during the week of May 11th?
Correct.
We'd offer that exhibit A for the commission.
No objection to its introduction.
Okay, I would like to enter that on the record.
So Cody, getting back to May 12th, can you describe kind of how that day went for you, who you talked to, how the shift went, things like that?
Yeah, on May 12th, I had 3 phone calls with Wendy, 4 with Darcy, and 2 with Bob. And then
Were you scheduled to work that day?
I was scheduled, or I volunteered. I technically wasn't scheduled. I volunteered to pick up a shift at 6 p.m. Tuesday night.
And then were you able to work that shift?
I did not work that shift.
But did you ensure that people were responding to emergencies when they arose?
Yeah, so there was a crash that came out. It was actually out of our jurisdiction on Highway 40 and Highway 2. I called Officer Hallisy to respond to it. Dispatch actually called me and asked if we had anybody in the area, which we didn't at the time because our day shift officer just got off. So I called Officer Hallisy since he lived in Tioga and could respond quick to respond to the scene. Dispatch then notified me a short time later that Highway Patrol and the Sheriff's Office was there, so we could disregard.
So it wasn't Nick Oster that dispatched him, it was you.
I dispatched Hallisy, correct.
And that's what Mr. Hallin testified to today, correct?
Correct. And Officer Oster was the one that put Hallisy on call later that night.
So where were you Tuesday, Cody?
I was at home.
What was going on with you?
A lot of grief, a lot of embarrassment, figuring out where to get in to get help. It's not necessarily easy to get in somewhere and get good recovery or good help. So I spent a lot of time doing that.
And so the record's clear. During this week, you were struggling with drinking. Is that accurate?
Not during the week, but the weekend, yes.
And then during the week, you were beginning to seek help. Is that accurate?
Correct.
And Tuesday, you had a couple of phone calls with Bob. Is that correct?
Correct.
Bob Fusion, for the record. That's police commissioner.
Correct.
And specifically, I want to get into the substance of the call that occurred at 8:42 p.m.
Okay.
You recall that phone call?
I do.
Okay. What did you and Bob talk about during that phone call?
I told Bob that I was struggling. That I was struggling with alcohol. He told me that if I wanted to drink, I should go work in the oil field, and that policemen shouldn't be drinking. I told him that I needed to go get help and that I had help coming and that I was going to go to the hospital because you have to go to the hospital to be able to go get some sort of placement.
And from your perspective during that phone call, were you telling Bob that you were planning to take leave?
Correct.
In retrospect, do you think you could have communicated that better?
Absolutely, I could have.
And do you have regrets about that?
Yes, I could have communicated throughout the week a lot better.
So what happened on Wednesday the 13th?
Wednesday the 13th, my dad arrived roughly at 4 a.m. To my residence. He picked me and my animals up and we headed straight to Minnesota.
Where did you go in Minnesota?
International Falls.
And is that where you stayed that night?
Yep, at my parents' house.
Did you tell anybody about that?
Yeah, there was a few people that I told, but it was more so kind of an embarrassment. I told them to kind of keep it hush. I told Darcy and I told Nick kind of what was going on, where I was at, what I was doing, and then obviously my girlfriend and then my parents and my brother knew.
Then what happened Thursday?
Thursday, I finally got into my medical doctor. I let her know what was going on. She got my FMLA paperwork filled out. We got my placement set up, and I just hung out. My parents were there, and we were just waiting to get me in and get some help.
That Thursday is when the FMLA paperwork was sent to the city of Tioga, correct?
Correct. I think my doctor's appointment was at like 9:30 Thursday morning.
I want to get into a little more of the specifics of the job. What was the city's practice for completing your timesheet generally?
So at the end of the 2 weeks, at the end of the pay period, me and my admin assistant, Darcy, we would go through and we would make changes if there was changes to be made. A lot of people would forget to clock out. A lot of people would forget to clock in. Some would clock out late. Some would clock in late. So it was a lot of stuff of just kind of fine tuning the timesheets to fix it.
Do you know if you're an exempt employee under city policy?
I am exempt.
And have you ever been instructed by the city to clock in or clock out for specific shifts?
I don't know if I was 100% instructed, but I believe it was to clock in and out.
And you guys hear me all right? Audio signal. Can you explain the reasons or context for any entries that might appear inconsistent with your physical presence at the police department?
Yeah, medical related.
What do you mean by that? Can you unpack that a little for us?
Yeah, substance use disorder.
Historically, how have you taken sick leave or vacation as chief of police?
I would just submit it through a lab tech, and I would just go.
Did the practice require prior approval from the police commissioner or city auditor or city commission before taking sick leave or vacation days?
Not usually, no. I think I would just enter it, and it was usually just always approved. And then if I did call in sick, I would always let, one of the officers that was on duty know, or I would always let my admin assistant know in the morning since she relatively worked the same schedule as me.
But traditionally, you didn't have to call Bob or Brett anytime you got sick, correct?
Not traditionally, no.
During that week of May 11th, what steps did you take to ensure the continuity of command and coverage for the department?
Well, on May 11th, I had three phone calls with City Auditor Wendy, working on timesheets, getting timesheets kind of fine-tuned in. I had phone calls with my admin assistant, Darcy. She had some discrepancies on her timesheet, so me and her were working through that Monday and getting to go through all that. And then just correlating with Officer or Detective Oster. And I should retract. So I originally thought that Williams County was going to be down to 3 people that Monday and Tuesday night, but they actually switched. They switch every 2 months of days, 2 months of nights. And that shift that was on Monday and Tuesday night was not down to 3 people. That was the start of the new switch.
So while you were kind of struggling during the week of May 11th, did you delegate any of your duties while you weren't able to perform them?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What duties were those, and who did you delegate them to?
I delegated them to Detective Oster, and obviously then calling out Officer Hallin for that crash on Tuesday night at 5. I think the call came out at like 5:48 or 5:52, something around that line.
But you were still monitoring the radio and making sure someone was responding. Is that accurate?
I was.
Were you ever completely absent for 3 consecutive work days without any contact with supervisory staff?
No, I was not. Like I said, I have phone records to prove on Monday about timesheets. Tuesday contact still with admin assistant Darcy working on timesheets. Contacted Officer Hallin Tuesday night to respond to that crash. Contacted Commissioner Bob Tuesday night as well. Me and him talked. And then Wednesday, I think I can't 100% recall if I had any contact with Darcy or Nick on Wednesday. They would have to attest to that. I don't remember what they said. And then Thursday is when I went to the doctor and got my FMLA.
And the city handbook requires you to notify a supervisor as soon as practical if you would be absent, late, or even just like planning to be gone. Who was your direct supervisor?
My direct supervisor would be Bob Fusion.
And from your perspective, you did communicate that on your phone call Tuesday evening with him, correct?
Yeah.
Do you have anything you'd like the commission to know about the prior incident of misconduct where you lied about police car locations in the context of them?
Yeah, I mean, I owned ownership and I took accountability for it. I had an officer in a really bad predicament. He had a vehicle broke down. He had 2 kids, a wife. His wife needed to work and get the kids to daycare. He needed a means of transportation to work. So I allowed him to take his squad car home for a while, and I still at that time didn't know he was still taking his squad car home. I then, when I saw a commissioner on 105th Ave, and then I got called asking if it was Zach, I originally thought it was me because I did see a commissioner on 105th at that time. I then called one of my officers and he informed me that he was taking the car home. I had him turn around and bring the car back.
And have you had any other issues of discipline during your time with the police department?
No,
And no discipline for attendance issues?
no,
No discipline for timekeeping issues?
no.
And where are you now?
Inpatient treatment,
And where at?
Hazleton Betty Ford,
And when were you admitted there?
Friday.
Is there anything else you'd like the commission or public to know about this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I've just struggled. I recently took leave in April because I was struggling and I needed help. And I went to a really, really bad treatment facility in California that was not good. And it ended up turning into a scam where my insurance ended up investigating them for fraud. So I never necessarily got the help I needed out there. I felt guilty for leaving my department. I felt just bad not being there. And I put them kind of above me at that point. I went to a different treatment facility out there after I went to that kind of scam one, and that one wasn't very good either. And at this point, I spent like 21 days out there and had only like 13 days of treatment because I was waiting for insurance to pre-authorize it. I was staying in a hotel wondering, can I just get help? Can I get in? And it ended up taking me like 5 or 6 days for my insurance to approve it. So basically, I was staying in a hotel in California, no family, nothing, just wanting help and wanting the proper help. I went out there to get the proper help. So when I came home, I kind of knew it was going to be a challenge, and I tried not to have it be an issue again. I really took the right steps that they teach you in recovery, and it was not enough for me to fully kick it.
And how long is the current program you're in?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How long is the current program that you are in? How long will it last?
It all kind of depends on insurance. It can be anywhere from 21 to 30 days. It depends on progress. It depends on a bunch of different stuff.
I don't have any further questions. Thank you, Cody.
Okay, I'll pass to the commission board, but I have a few questions for you, Cody. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, very good. Well, I appreciate you being here this evening. I want to start with what you testified about earlier. You said that you had your own concerns about working on night shift. You thought that would be a problem because you would stay up all night and drink. Do you remember sharing that with us?
Correct.
Did you tell that to any of your supervisors?
No.
When did that particular concern develop for you?
That's been a concern for a couple of years now. And this time I thought I was really optimistic that I was going to be able to kick it. I needed to help my department. We didn't have an officer. I needed to step up. I needed to do something to help them. And yeah, I went in to the weekend very optimistic. I was okay for a little bit. And finally I was just like, you know what? I can't do it. Like I said, I broke down Monday, and I've never broken down like that before. Men aren't supposed to be breaking down, they're supposed to be strong, and I broke down pretty hard.
Okay, so it's your testimony that for several years, but certainly after you returned to work on or about May 4th, you had concerns, but you didn't notify a supervisor. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, I felt like it's kind of an embarrassing thing. It's kind of a personal thing, so I didn't want to make it a huge deal if I could control it.
Okay. You also testified during the course of your testimony with counsel just now that the only folks you told about this predicament, largely because of the related embarrassment, were Darcy, Nick, your girlfriend Mariah, and your parents. Was that a true statement that you just gave us?
About like where I was going.
No, about the fact that you were leaving and you were seeking treatment. Are those the only people that you told about that?
No, I told Mr. Fusion that I needed help and that I was going to the hospital to get help.
Did you tell any members of the community that you were doing so?
That I was going to get help?
Yep.
No.
So when folks appeared at the meeting just a couple days ago and said they spoke to you that morning or they had talked to you directly, they were not telling the truth?
That I was going to get help?
That you were going anywhere, that you would not be at work for any reason?
I just told people I was gone. I never told them why I was gone.
Who did you tell you were gone?
I don't remember. I had quite a few people reach out to see if I was okay.
And you responded to all of them?
Not all of them, no.
Did you reach out to a gentleman named Mr. Babick?
I think I reached out to Mr. Babick when I was heading to treatment, I believe. I can't remember exactly.
Does Mr. Babick work for the city of Tioga?
He does not.
How come you could reach out to Mr. Babick, but you couldn't reach out to Mr. Renitz?
I guess I can't answer that.
Okay. You said that you had a typical routine for entering rehabilitative treatment. And I think you said that you usually just had the lab tech send paperwork. I guess I don't know what that means. What's a lab tech?
I said I'd have a lab tech send paperwork.
That's what I thought you said, but you can correct me.
I guess you would have to rephrase the point I was talking with, I guess.
I think that was about vacation. That's interrupt.
Okay, well, tell me about that. For time off, how did you typically request time off when you worked for the city of Tioga?
Well, before we went to an automated system, it would be a paper timesheet.
So you would request time off on a paper timesheet?
We did for a very long time, correct.
And who approved that?
Before I became chief, it was the previous chief, and then when I was chief, I never really took any time off at the time.
Okay. Who approved your FML leave in April?
The treatment center I was at.
The treatment center approved your leave? or did your boss approve your leave?
I guess I don't know how that works. I was just told that you need to have paperwork signed. I don't know who I don't know if people approve FMLA. I don't know much about that other than they sign paperwork and they send it off for you.
Hey, you've described for us that the terrors and problems of the California treatment, multiple treatments apparently, but you indicated that you returned to work. Is that right?
Correct.
Did you express to any of your supervisors that you'd had a terrible time at treatment in California and were worried about the success or failure of it?
I actually talked to Mr. Renitz one day when I told him about how bad the treatment center I was at, and he asked me what I was currently doing. I said I'm walking the beach waiting to get into a better one.
While you were at treatment?
No, it was so I went to a really bad place and then I had to wait like 5 days or 6 days to get into a different place. So then I called him just to kind of give him an update, like, hey, this is where I'm at. I'm walking the beach. I had a really bad experience and we kind of just talked for a while.
Okay, let me be more clear. When you returned to duty on May 4th, your first day back to follow whatever treatment you did or did not receive in California, did you tell any of your supervisors on May 4th, wow, that experience in California was really awful and I have doubts as to whether that treatment took? Did you tell anyone that?
No, I didn't think it was pertinent to give out all that personal information.
In fact, what you did was reach out to a walk-in clinic in Williston and have them sign a form that said you were fit to return to duty. Is that right?
Yeah, because I couldn't get into like any medical doctors and she's a nurse practitioner, so I just got into them.
And then even though you had doubts about the veracity of that representation, you tendered that, you provided that documentation to the city. Is that correct?
No, I'd say I was more so optimistic.
Okay. You testified that, I think it was through the 12th, maybe it was the 11th and the 12th. You spent many, many hours looking for a treatment facility because they're hard to find. Is that correct?
They are hard to find.
Okay, so how come you didn't call your bosses before you started the search for treatment facilities to tell them that you needed to search for treatment facilities? Why didn't that happen?
Again, because it's one of those really embarrassing things. It's not fun having to do that stuff.
Like,
It's just not fun having to tell people your struggles and like have to express that stuff.
do you agree that other people rely on you
They do.
to be right? And so even if something is quote unquote not fun, when other people rely on you, especially in the capacity as a chief of police, you have a duty, an obligation to inform others in situations where you can no longer effectively manage those duties. Is that an understanding you have?
I'd say that's fair.
Okay. So what went wrong here? Why did you not immediately notify anyone of that before you began the search for treatment?
I notified Bob on Tuesday night.
Okay. After you had researched rehab facilities per your testimony, right?
I mean, it was more so, I don't even know if I can't remember exactly what day I was researching the treatment facilities, to be completely honest.
So do you agree that you didn't notify your supervisors as near as practicable to the time that you needed leave?
I notified them a day after, or like a day after.
A day after you knew you needed leave, you notified them.
Well, I wasn't 100% sure if I needed it yet. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get through it or not. It's hard. It's a hard thing to explain. It's not necessarily just a really easy thing to explain.
Okay, you testified that you had quote unquote kind of fixed your time card. Do you recall that line of testimony?
Yes,
Meaning that you had asked Wendy to punch you out at 4 a.m., which she did, right?
correct.
But you were only on call that evening. You didn't actually work the whole shift. You were on call status, but you forgot to put yourself on the board. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, so I would have eventually changed that.
You would eventually change that. Have you changed it?
I haven't had access to my computer since Tuesday. So, and I don't have permissions to change my own things.
Do you have access to a cell phone where you could have called someone in authority and asked them to change it?
Yes,
Did you?
I did not. Typically, at the end of every 2 weeks, we would change it. Me and Darcy would go through timesheets and change it.
You testified that you told Nick and Darcy what was going on. You recall that?
Correct.
Did you tell them not to tell Brett and Bob?
No,
So if they failed to give that information to Brett and Bob, that was their own decision?
well, I just told them to keep it private.
You told Darcy and Nick to keep it private.
Yes, and told them that I was going on leave.
Okay. Did you redo the schedule when you told them you were going on leave?
The schedule was already set.
Were you a part of that schedule?
I was not.
You had no time that you were required to work during the week of May 11th?
Typically, it's 9 to 5. That's my typical schedule.
So did you provide any coverage for the 9 to 5 hours on that schedule?
Well,
When
we have a day shift officer that works 6 to 6, and we have a night shift officer that works 6 to 6.
Okay. You were asked what measures you put into place during your period of absence or whatever. I'm not even going to call it a period of absence between, let's say, May 11th and May 14th. And you indicated that you dispatched Hallisey, right?
Correct.
And you told Darcy and Nick to keep it private, but that you were taking leave. Right?
I mean, I didn't necessarily tell them, hey, I'm going to treatment. I just told them, hey, I'm getting help. Like, it's not like I was like, hey, guys, going to treatment again. It was more so like, hey, guys, I'm getting help. So it was kind of an open-ended thing.
Okay. So what other continuity measures did you impose other than telling them you were getting help and dispatching Hallisey to a call? What other continuity measures did you put in place for the PD during that period?
Putting Officer Oster in charge. I finished timesheets on Monday and Tuesday from the previous 2 weeks, got them all approved, got them finalized.
Okay. By Thursday, you'd submitted or had someone submit FMLA paperwork. Is that right?
Correct.
And you knew you had an appointment Thursday. Is that right?
No, I actually called Thursday morning and was able to get in, luckily.
Okay. What time did you make that appointment Thursday morning?
I can't remember. I think I called at like 9 o'clock in the morning or something. I can't recall exactly when I called and made the appointment.
Okay. So you didn't have an appointment scheduled when you left North Dakota?
No.
Okay. You didn't have an appointment scheduled anywhere for any medical purpose when you left North Dakota?
I had scheduled to come into treatment, yes, so medical for that.
Okay, what day did you schedule your entry into treatment?
That would have been either Wednesday or I think that would have been Wednesday.
Okay. So when you did that on Wednesday, what continuity measures did you put into place for the PD?
Like I said, I had Officer Oster take over.
Okay. You were aware that you were down a staff member for a period of time, right?
Correct.
You got 2 fresh officers, right?
I wouldn't say fresh. They've been off FTO for almost 6 months. The one was hired in September, and the other one has almost 2 years of experience, so they're not completely fresh.
Okay. And at this point, you're not sure, but you think you'll be gone anywhere from 21 to 30 days.
It could vary. I could be gone 10. I could be gone. I mean, you never know. They don't give you like a set time. It just, there's a maximum, and then it could be, the maximum is 30, and then you don't know anywhere from that
Okay. So up to 30 days.
at the maximum.
Okay. I know you testified that you went to rehab at the California Place in April and you returned May 4th. Have you taken any other medical rehabs while under the employ of the city of Tioga? Or
Yes,
while you were, let me be clear, sorry, I don't want to overreach, while you were chief of police?
any medical rehabs you said?
Yeah.
No.
Really? Okay. And how and when did you notify Nick Oster that he was in charge?
It had to have been probably Tuesday night.
And how did you do that?
I believe it was a phone call.
And what exactly did you tell him?
That I was just going away for a while.
That was it?
I mean, yeah, that I was going away, and I was struggling. Kind of just left it at that.
Okay. I don't have anything further. I'll pass to the commission board.
Go for it.
Okay. Okay, Cody. Why'd you tell Wendy to clock you out at 4 a.m.? Why 4 a.m.?
Why 4 a.m.?
Yeah,
Because I just figured that was the time that usually stuff is just calmed down, and you have somebody coming in at 6 a.m.
so did you tell her 4 a.m. to make her think that you were working?
No.
Um, what, I just gotta ask, why do you say you volunteered to cover the night shifts, Monday, Tuesday? When you knew that our officer that was scheduled for those shifts was not available, and you knew we were 3 deputies down for the SO, right?
So
'Cause
no,
we talked about that.
yeah, and then they ended up actually not being, because they switched that week to, they were fully staffed that Monday, Tuesday night.
Or are you saying you were relying on Williams County to cover anything that would happen in Tioga?
I mean, we did it for like 8 months when we do 12-hour shifts and then 12 hours on call. They've been great. We really relied on them a lot.
Feel like we rely on them or we depend on them when we don't want to work?
I wouldn't say depend. If I would have gotten called out, I would have responded.
Okay, another question. You said you weren't at work Tuesday night because you were trying to find a facility to get into?
Tuesday night, yeah, I mean, it was just another one of those days that you're just, you feels like your world's just kind of crashing down on you, and you're just trying to figure it out. And I mean, you can Google things and try to find reviews and things like that, but it's, until you find an actual good one, it takes a while.
Did you actually reach out to any facilities Tuesday night?
Yeah, it was later Tuesday night.
You remember about what time?
It was pretty late Tuesday night. I can't remember an exact time.
And they were open that late at night? to field a call?
Yeah, they're open 24/7 to field calls.
Okay. Okay, I just want to know, because I know the story here and you talked about it. The first facility that you went to, you told me that you had to check yourself out because you were traumatized. And you were so traumatized that you were never going to struggle with that issue ever again. Do you recall that?
I do.
Do you recall what I told you after that?
That I was lucky not to be shanked.
No. Maybe, but no.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I told you, I said, Cody, do you feel like you need any additional help? Because you have all the liberty in the world to do that. Right? And you did, right? You were trying to get into another facility that was like part of a franchise or something towards one you had success with in the past.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so when you got back that Friday, when you called me, we were pretty stoked, right? You were back. You were gonna be back to work Monday. Do you remember what you told me and why you were so confident that you were gonna be successful going forward?
I can't recall that.
You said because you never had a program or something like that to follow. This is the first time that you've actually had like a program or something to follow.
Correct.
Guys, questions?
Can you please explain how you put yourself on the board for work, please?
I didn't put myself on the board.
No, I'm just saying in general. So if you're going to put yourself on the board, explain how you do that.
You can do it from your phone and make yourself available, or you can do it from your computer.
Okay. In the previous past, when we were short on manpower and we needed some assistance from Williams County Sheriff's Department, did we contact them ahead of schedule to let them know that we're gonna be short on certain days or nights?
Not always, because we were short for a good like 6-7 months consistently.
Do you have your personal phone and work phone with you in your possession?
My work phone is dead. I have my personal phone.
Do you have all the contacts for your supervisors and or Brett in your personal phone?
I believe I only have you and Brett in my personal phone.
Is there a reason why you didn't call me or text me?
It's that embarrassment and that guilt, letting people down. It's the worst feeling in the world. Letting people down. It's awful.
You stated that you called and talked to Darcy and Nick, and to keep it private. On Wednesday, what time of day or night was that phone call roughly?
I can't even remember. I think Nick was Tuesday night. I don't remember when it was. They would have to say that. I don't remember exactly when.
How about Darcy,
I can't recall.
if you had to pick? I mean, was it during day shift or more towards the night?
Honestly, I'm pretty sure my mom was the one that reached out to Darcy for me. I reached out to Nick.
When you stated that you believe you corrected the timesheets that Wendy emailed you because there are some discrepancies, did those timesheets have to be further corrected or were they correct and able to be processed for payroll at that time?
Can you rephrase that? I'm sorry.
You stated that the timesheets were edited and fixed. Earlier, when we heard testimony from Wendy, she stated that she sent you an email and you had not completed those timesheet edits on Monday night. So she was trying to get a hold of you on Tuesday.
Me and Wendy had 3 phone calls on Monday morning, early afternoon, and working on specifically one employee's timesheet.
Okay.
That needed quite a bit of correction.
Okay. After you got off the phone with Wendy, were the timesheets able to be processed for payroll at that time?
I was working on them and I was waiting for the employee to enter the right stuff, because you can't enter your employee's stuff and your employees have to go in and check boxes that the employee, check it that it is correct. And then as a manager, then you go in and check a box and approve it.
So how come you didn't follow up again to make sure that that timesheet was able to be processed for payroll?
I guess I can't 100% recall that.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Commission done?
You guys have any questions for Cody? Okay,
I don't have anything further.
I've got a brief redirect, but Cody, you spoke to Nick Oster on Tuesday the 12th. Did you let him know that he would be in charge for the foreseeable future?
I believe so.
And when you told him to keep it private, did you mean don't gossip about me or to hide things from the commission?
It definitely wasn't to hide things. It was just more so like, just don't gossip around like why I'm leaving. Like, this is more so like man to man, like, dude, I'm struggling. Like, don't air it out.
You never asked Nick or Darcy to cover for you with the commission or your superior.
No.
And on Monday the 11th from Tuesday the 12th, you were on call and ready to respond until 4 a.m. Is that correct?
Yes. I didn't put myself on the board, but I was ready to go at any moment.
And you thought you were on the board.
I did.
And that's why you told Wendy that your timesheet should end at 4 a.m. Is that correct?
Correct.
No further questions.
Good evening, the health
Hey,
station.
you mind if I redirect that?
120, if you still need your medicine, please come, thank you.
I'm not sure what's happening. Kyle, go ahead.
So if there was a call and you were on call, how would dispatch know to call you and to
'Cause when-
assign you for that call?
Because
If you weren't
whenever
on the board.
because whenever there's been multiple instances where they would just call me if somebody wasn't, like, for an example, this was a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember what it was, but we were down an officer at night shift and one of the dispatchers called me and said, hey, we got this going on, can anybody respond? And I had one of my officers respond to it, and we didn't have anybody at the board at that time. So there's been multiple times where dispatch, since I was the chief, if they needed an officer, they knew to call me.
Am I able to ask a different question not pertaining to that or no?
Yeah, we've relaxed the scope of cross and direct, so have at it.
Did you let any other law enforcement officer, whether it's any other agency, sheriff's department, anyone else know that you were having these struggles or issues?
Yeah, there's been a few.
Did you talk to him on the night of the 11th or 12th?
I can't, honest to God, recall that.
Okay, thank you. I'm done.
Just real quick, on Kyle's piggyback, what agencies and who did you contact?
It's honestly, it was, I don't know if they'd even want me to air out their stuff, but it's other people that also struggle in different circumstances. So trying to put two brains together and kind of talk it through. And I wouldn't say it was like different agencies. I'd say it was just people that have other addictions. Or,
So you
or they're-
didn't, that's what I'm trying to figure out, Cody, and I'm not trying to pick a fight with you. Did you notify any agency that you were likely to depart and the PD might need extra support?
I don't believe so.
Okay, that's all I have.
Liz, can I ask one question too?
Sure. No, this is your chance to ask away. All commissioners have a right. Go ahead.
Cody, last time you reached out in April,
Mm-hmm.
that was your first call, yeah?
You were.
Did you feel 100% supported? And did you feel like I had your back through and through?
Right. You did support me for sure.
And you know my big thing is consistency, right? We talk about that all the time.
Yep.
So why didn't you call me this time?
Brett, because I didn't want to let you down again. Like, I like you, and we have some really good talks off the clock about just random life stuff. I hate letting people down. That is one of my biggest downfalls, is I just hate letting other people down. I care too much. I don't want to upset people. It's not fun to feel the way I do, because like, another reason why I came home earlier from California was because I felt so guilty about not being there for my department. I felt guilty for not being there for my community. And I just didn't want to let you down, to be honest. I didn't want to let people down again, because I feel like when people go through issues like this, it's very personal stuff, and I just don't want to let people down. So I try to handle it myself, and it's bigger than just me, is what I'm starting to realize. It's bigger than just me. I do need that support. I'm just tired of letting people down, to be honest.
Yeah, anyone else, guys? All right, we're nearing 10 o'clock. I don't know. It's up to you guys. You want to take a quick little 5-minute recess again?
Yeah, I make a motion, we have a 5-minute recess.
I'll second that. Okay, we got a motion and a second for a 5-minute recess. Let's vote.
Yes.
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 And yes, we are recessed until it's like 9:56 PM.
And it's one thing I think.
He never did reply to me though, but I just assumed he needed it. He did something. I texted him the next day. I'll reach out to him. I did text him, but I wondered. I'm done. I'm
Latest I've been up since my drinking days.
Here's the first step.
Roll dice. To the right one.
Yeah, I turned it down to 60, so. So it's I like, sweatshirt should be good. Yeah. Be working.
Have you not? But they decided they were illegal, and they wanted to talk to each other through the fence in the backyard. They teased up like a bar, like,
I sit back. I tried to, and I just figured out that.
It's fine.
It was a bit.
Just telling him, I've been up this late since my drinking days.
Yep. Yeah, there it is.
I've been asleep for an hour.
Hey guys, we'll call the public hearing back to order at 9:56 PM. Hey Liz, from a procedural standpoint, you're gonna have to help me out here.
Yeah, we'll just confirm, Mr. Sprout, does that conclude your case in chief?
We have two more witnesses, but they'll be very short and they just want to
Well,
give personal.
Yep, no,
personal
and I'm not rushing you, so don't take the request that way. They're just trying to retake procedures. So go ahead and proceed with your case. And then Brett, once he rests, he can let us know that and we'll go from there.
And we did plan for these two to be very short anyways. They're just going to give a brief statement about their dealings with Chief Hallin. We would call Danielle Roden.
I can grab her, she's outside.
Is Ms. Roden there?
He was outside.
Oh, okay. Oh, sure.
Okay, I wrote this down because I'm not good at speaking in public places, so don't mind me. My name is Danielle. I moved to Tioga about a year and a half ago. I'm not really great at speaking in public, but I feel that my interaction with Cody should be heard. A year ago, almost to the day, we lost our oldest son to overdose. I watched my husband crumble to the ground. My husband left to go deal with the tragedy. I was left home with my youngest son. I had very little contact with my husband. He wouldn't answer the calls, and I suffered from mental health problems. And with everything that was going on, I lost my grip on reality. By the time he got home, I was completely manic and to the point I couldn't breathe. I was out of control. Cody pulled up and came inside. My anxiety was so bad, he asked if he could talk to me. He got down on the ground with me and just listened. He said he understood my situation. At that point, he was able to calm me down. He finally talked me into going to the hospital. He sat there with me to make sure that I was safe. He said that that's all he cared about. He told me that I wasn't in trouble and that he was there to help me and make sure everything was okay. He finally, oh, sorry. He came and told me he was leaving when I was good and that if I needed help, he would be there. With everything that was talked about, Cody and my husband has really made me a better person. I want to give a shout out to Cody and Nick. They are both by far the best people to represent this beautiful town. They care about this community. Cody is compassionate and he's driven. It's hard to find people that care and actually love working and love supporting their community. Mental health is a pretty big deal, and having to deal with addiction on top of it, I understand where he's coming from when it comes to being embarrassed and not wanting to let people know about his problems. I'm sorry. He loves his community and his job. Putting on a badge doesn't change the fact that he's human. He suffers and feels just like everybody else. It would be sad to see such a great person, an officer, get let go because he was suffering with his mental health and addiction. He knew he had a problem and he admitted that, and he reached out for help, and that's exactly what he's doing. Is there no truth that people in power don't suffer the same as everybody else? I believe that a lot of people in this community have benefited from Cody and his compassion and his understanding. That's what I got. So, there you go.
Thank you for telling your story.
Last, we have Veronica Peterson. And Veronica, before you begin, could you just spell your name for the record?
Yeah, it's Ronica, last name Pederson.
Thank you. Please continue.
I had to write mine out too, because I'm not sure if I can make it through this. My name is Veronica. I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. I know this hearing is about Chief Cody Hallin, but I wanted to speak about the character of the man I personally experienced during one of the hardest moments of my life. When our daughter Riley passed away unexpectedly, our world stopped in the middle of grief, confusion, shock. Cody was one of the first people who reached out to us, not because he had to, not for recognition, but because he genuinely cared. I'm sorry. He checked on us immediately that morning. He continued checking on us daily afterward, not only on me and my husband, but also on my youngest daughter. He helped us navigate difficult situations and helped connect us with people that we didn't know how to get a hold of or where things were, where my daughter was. He helped us get in touch with the coroner, the medical examiner, and other people during that unimaginable time. One moment that will stay with me forever is that he personally escorted our daughter home to Tioga. It had been freezing rain that night before, so the roads were really bad. That act alone meant more to our family than words can properly express. In moments of tragedy, people show you who they truly are. Leadership is not about policies, titles, or meetings. Sometimes leadership is shown quietly through compassion, presence, consistency, and humanity when people are hurting the most. I understand tonight's hearing is not about me or my family, and I respect the responsibilities this commission carries. I'm simply here to share the character and heart that I personally witnessed from Cody during a time when my family needed the support. He showed up. No one is perfect, but I believe compassion, integrity, and genuine care for people still matter in leadership, and that is Cody. He truly cares about this community and the people in it. I will always be grateful for the kindness and support he showed our family, and I felt it was important that this commission hear that perspective tonight. Thank you, Cody, for the kindness and help you showed me and my family. Thanks to everyone at the police department.
Thank you, Veronica.
With that, we would rest. Both Cody and I have prepared short closings, and I believe Liz has as well.
Let me just make sure, commission members, I don't see an immediate need, at all to engage in a rebuttal case. Do any of you, feel compelled to re-examine any witnesses or elicit any rebuttal testimony?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, let's proceed to closing remarks. And honestly, Mr. Sprout, I'm going to allow you to make the closing remarks because I don't want to overstep my role as attorney for the commission. I think they're very capable of absorbing the facts and having discussions about the facts. So go ahead and give your view. I'm going to withhold mine because it's not proper for me to try to influence. So go ahead and speak freely. We'll listen.
Sure. And would it be acceptable for Cody to follow up with a brief statement after mine?
Yeah, I don't have any objection to that at all, and I doubt that the commission does. I don't see a procedural basis to exclude that, so feel free.
Thank you. Commissioners, the evidence you have heard and the documents you have reviewed do not support removal. NDCC 401507 requires cause, but sufficient cause is not present here. Cody conceded he could have done better, and he definitely could have, but he did not abandon his position or go 3 days without communications. The city's case collapses for 3 reasons. Number one is factual insufficiency. The city alleged no communication and abandoned it, yet the record contains multiple calls and messages between Chief Hallin and the city officials the week of May 11th. Additionally, the handbook, section 5.03, defines job abandonment as 3 consecutive days without contact, a standard the city did not meet here. Additionally, several police department employees testified credibly that Chief Hallin did not abandon his position. Further, the city received FMLA paperwork prior to the special meeting notice. Additionally, the evidence shows the city was on notice of a medical condition that could be protected under the ADA and FMLA. Initiating removal and termination after receiving the notice raises serious concerns of retaliation and/or interference. The burden was the city's, and it has not proven the cause by accurate facts, fair process, or consistent application of policy. For these reasons, we respectfully request that the commission dismiss the preferred charges and reinstate Chief Hallin with all rights and benefits restored. Alternatively, however, we respectfully request that Chief Hallin instead be suspended or demoted in lieu of termination. The testimony and facts in the record indicate that Chief Hallin is a positive influence on the community and a good police officer who cares greatly about the city of Tioga. While he has dealt with personal struggles recently, these struggles do not define him as an individual or a law enforcement officer. And it is best for Tioga that Chief Hallin remain employed with the city. Thank you. Cody, go ahead.
I believe things happen for a reason, but this has been a few difficult weeks. My heart has always been in the right place. Serving this community became more than a job. It became my purpose. I gave time, energy, I missed personal moments because I believe protecting and helping others mattered more than myself. That commitment was never about a paycheck or a title. It was about serving the people and being there in need. Police officers are human. Behind every badge is someone who carries stress, trauma, and family responsibilities that aren't always visible. We witness people at their lowest moments while trying to hold ourselves together through our own. I'm not perfect. I know that for a fact, but I have tried to serve with loyalty, compassion, and integrity. Facing the possibility of losing a career that has defined everything I wanted to be since I've been a 3-year-old kid is painful. Still, I remain committed to this community, the values that guide my service. I did my absolute best to continue to try to run my department while now navigating what I needed to do to better myself. I have a fantastic department that I trust with my life, and I know they trust me with theirs. Discussing my personal struggles is very difficult and airing it out to the public. I understand that I should have communicated better about my circumstances, and I take full accountability and will live with that regret. That said, this was not a no call, no show situation. I was running the department the best I could while dealing with my personal issues. But even through all of this, I'm still standing. I'm still fighting. I'm not going to give up. I will become better and be the best version of myself. And despite the hurt, despite the uncertainty, my love for this community has not changed. I still believe in people. I still believe in service. I still believe that difficult seasons can shape us instead of destroy us. I'm grateful for the support I've received, especially with the community, the commissioners, Brett and Bob specifically, the witnesses I've had in my department. I will move forward with resilience, faith, and a continued focus on service and character, regardless of how today ends. Thank you.
Any other closing remarks, Mr. Sprout?
No.
Then I will ask the commission board to begin entertaining discussions pertinent not to remedial measures, but whether or not there is a sufficient factual finding. Please discuss that, and then once you've concluded your discussions, we'll work through findings. And to help you guys, because I know this is nebulous, I want you to start with allegation. I'm in the statement of preferred charges. That might be helpful to your conversation. You first need to discuss whether in or near the week of May 11th, without communication to the police commissioner, the commission president, or any other supervising commissioner or member of the commission body, while scheduled to be on shift, he did not appear for work and work his shifts. I want you to work through each of those allegations, discuss the facts, and we'll just have a motion on each, whether it's correct or factually supported or not.
Guys, let's work through that. So we'll start with that sub one, okay? So that in near or during the week of May 11th, 2026, without communication to the police commissioner, the commission president, or any other supervising commissioner or member of the commission body, Chief of Police Hallin, while scheduled to be on shift, did not appear and work his shifts. This unauthorized absenteeism has been repeat in nature of late and specifically occurred on Monday, the 11th, Tuesday, the 12th, Wednesday, the 13th, and Thursday, the 14th, all of 2026.
Gentlemen, if it helps at all, I would maybe start with May 11th. Why don't you have a discussion of what you think the correct facts are? I realize there are competing testimony here. That's normal. You have to weigh credibility and decide which version of events or combination of testimonies you think and evidence you think is correct. So why don't you start your discussion with May 11th, then proceed to May 12th, May 13th, and then May 14th. That might be the easier way to deal with that allegation.
My heart goes out to the people that spoke for Cody, and I like him myself also. But we have to consider all the people that didn't speak. And I believe he was AWOL.
Do you believe he committed a violation of his general duties of an appointed officer on May 11th?
I do, yes.
Guys have any thoughts on that?
I also agree that there was a violation as he was not in person on shift Monday.
I would also have to agree that there is a violation on Monday. Volunteered to work that day.
I would also have to agree that he was in violation for Monday. He was scheduled and was not physically there.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I mean, Cody said he wasn't at work. Just to simply say I'm on call, I don't think cuts the mustard when you know that we're short-staffed and we are without that person on that shift. So it was imperative that he was here in person. So no, I agree. He was in violation of his general duties as an appointed officer. Hey, what about the 12th?
Well, same deal. I think that, there was also a violation because, again, he was not present in person and, there was no, making accommodations with the, supervisor. And I don't think that, because you make the schedule, I do not think that in real time, you could just decide that I'm not gonna be in person, I'm going to be on call. I don't think that is correct.
I also feel in violation as well for Tuesday. If we need to be aware of what's going on prior to that time, prior to that shift. We can't be being caught off guard on no matter whatever call it is. So with that being said, he isn't found in violation.
I agree. I think policemen are dependent on all the time. If they're not supposed to be there, they're not supposed to be there, but when they should be at work, they gotta be at work. I think, he's negligent on that.
Again, he was scheduled to be there. He was not there in person himself. So I would have to agree.
I agree too. For the 12th, he committed that violation.
I feel the same for Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, if anything, for me, it's a little worse because we heard absolutely nothing Wednesday and Thursday.
After hearing all this testimony, I'm still not sure of what actually, what he's trying to prove. He done everything the wrong way, and he knows better.
I would have to agree. Again, he was not there in person. He did not reach out to Bob or Brett, which would have been the contacts he needed to get a hold of for this incident.
I also find him in violation on Wednesday and Thursday as well.
Okay, so it sounds like you've all gone through those days. I am going to make a suggestion for the record that the commission note that, at some point, in late morning on Thursday, FMLA paperwork, was submitted to the city. And frankly, I don't know that Thursday matters all that much. It sounds like all of you have collectively found a violation on May 11th. 12th and 13th due to unexcused absenteeism. And as was discussed, there is a job abandonment policy.
Put it back on my phone.
Gentlemen, you should entertain a motion with those facts in hand as to whether you think that allegation was sufficiently met and whether that 3.5, 3.25 day window constitutes job abandonment under city policy.
I believe it does.
The motion,
Oh,
that's what you're,
yeah. Let me make a motion. We dismiss Cody from the Tioga Police Department.
we'll be making a motion if he's in violation of this
Oh,
chapter, article, subsection, if that's what you feel.
yeah. I'm discouraged. I really am discouraged. But yeah, I'll make a motion that this, can't see that good anymore. My eyes are watering. Oh, yeah.
Bob, are you moving to find that there's a violation of A1 in the allegations for Monday, the 11th, Tuesday, the 12th, Wednesday, the 13th, and some portion of the 14th, Thursday? Is that your motion?
Yes, it is.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we got a motion and a second, to find Cody Hallin in violation of section A sub I for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and a portion of Thursday. Have some discussion on that. Bob, it was your motion, so if you have anything you'd like to say on that or discuss.
Yeah, I feel really, really, really bad about this whole situation. And the whole situation goes right back to Cody's feet. We're here tonight for that very reason. I just don't see how we can continue with a police chief that operates in this direction. I can't say he'd never do it again, no matter what we did. That's my feeling.
In your second.
Oh, we already kind of talked about it, so.
Any discussion related to that motion? Tell you what I'll say, this one hurts me pretty bad. I said Cody was my pick. And the biggest sales pitch about the guy at the time when we were going through the interview process was honesty, integrity, character. Being where you're supposed to be when you say you're gonna be, doing all the right things when nobody's looking. Based off of testimony and fact finding that we heard tonight, in reference to this general duties of an appointed officer. I mean, I've say it, that's my guy. I mean, he's my guy through and through. But at this moment in time, I mean, I can't rely on him to do his job. And I can't rely on him to tell me when he can't do his job. And at that point, that's a fact pattern. And that's a tough pill to swallow. Steven, do you have anything? All right, let's vote.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
And yes, motion carries.
The next allegation should be more expedient, gentlemen, because we used it the last discussion of violations. But the question here is that during the same period of time, that is May 11th, 12th, 13th, and some portion of the 14th prior to the submission of MLA paperwork, did Chief Hallin functionally abandon his post at the Tioga PD? I think you've already discussed that to some degree, but if you need more, have at it.
I am real new at this. I don't know how to make a motion even. But, we need to make, we need to discipline this. Feel.
So we're not at disciplinary phase. Let me ask this question differently, gentlemen. The point to discuss is whether or not, by virtue of that absenteeism, which you've just confirmed, was Chief Hallin actually serving as the chief of police? Was he functionally serving the role over those days?
My opinion is no. I feel like he was in violation of Article 5, subsection 0604 as well.
I also feel the same way with that.
I agree. Believe he was in. I really don't know what he was doing. Just. But he definitely was wrong.
Would have to agree as well.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion for section B of the preferred charges.
I'll make a motion that Officer Hallin was in violation of Section A, Article number 2 of his duties. I'm sorry, could you clarify that one more time? He was in violation of Section A, Part 2. That's the one that we're on. We're on B.
We're on B.
Yes.
My apologies.
If you
My
guys are
apologies.
discussing, no, that's okay. If you're discussing B, that's fine. So has anyone made a motion to approve the findings under subsection B?
I believe you were. I just wanted to clarify for the record that we're on B, not A.
Yeah, I was in the process of, but I was on the wrong area. My apologies. So I will make a motion that Officer Hallin, or Chief of Police Officer Hallin, was in violation of Section B, Article 5.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion, a second, that Chief Hallin was in violation of Article 5, subsection 1.0604. Any discussion on that one? Okay, let's go.
Gentlemen, sorry, one fact finding I would like you to make specifically, and you can do that in the course of your discussion. That's the final under B, which is a review of video footage and time carding revealed absenteeism. And that's the allegation that essentially deals with dishonesty. I would like to make sure we have an understanding whether that's a basis on which the commission is finding a fact. I think that's important. I think council's identified it. It can be included with your motion on B, but please do have limited discussion. Well, if you don't need it, you don't have to, but on the issue of the time carding, entry of time, billing of time, and the like, that's sort of a separate allegation.
I feel he's on a salary, right? I don't know if you need to clock in when you're on a salary or not. I just don't understand it.
You need to be clocked in whenever you're at work,
I see. Okay.
and you need to be clocked out when you're not at work.
Right. Thank you.
Even if you're salary,
Oh,
across the board.
okay. Thank you.
I find that with the record keeping of clocking in and not clocking out, also with when the video evidence was looked at for the PD, there's no evidence found that he was at the PD and actually working for them days. And insufficient information was given to the people in charge for that time period.
I agree.
Discussion.
That's plenty. Yeah, again, entertain a motion.
We already have a motion. We just needed to discuss, unless you could correct me if I'm wrong, Liz.
Liz, go ahead.
Nope, you're right. There's a motion on the floor. I think there was a second. I just wanted you to make a particular finding on that. I think you have. So if you're done discussing, you can move to a vote and then we'll proceed to the next section. And to be clear, the motion, as I understood it, was that you were finding a sufficient fact basis for subpart B of the preferred charges, to be clear.
Correct. Okay, let's vote.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion carries.
Okay, so that means that the commission has found violations as articulated in the preferred charges. Gentlemen, we have the next portion of the meeting, which requires your discussion, the entertaining of motions and voting. That's to discuss what, if any, remedies should ensue. To be clear, I want to make sure you understand that there are a host of remedies available. One remedy is removal. That's one remedy. One remedy is removal and termination. That's a second remedy. Another remedy is removal and noting that there is a current FMLA request in play, which you excised under your first fact finding. So you would vote removal of office, but you would stay any decision on termination until the conclusion or exhaustion of FMLA leave. That's option 3. Or there's option 4, which is even though you found violations, you don't wish to have removal, termination, or stay of termination subject to FMLA, or you can decide there's no need for any remedy at all despite the violations. So those are your options-ish. And there are other things you can discuss. If you have other ideas, pitch them.
Guys, have any thoughts on that? Well, we've got options.
Oh, I know.
I mean, there are plenty of them. I'm of the mind that he cannot lead this department. He just can't. He's proven that. But does that mean he's not employable? I mean, that's a big question in my mind. I mean, is there opportunity to retain him, demote him, keep him on staff? Or is trust broken that badly that it's unreconcilable?
No, I could go for option 3, or we could stay and we can decide on it, take some time. I mean, we can remove him and stay the dismissal until he gets out of treatment.
You'd be willing to make a motion on that?
Sure.
That would be the removal with FMLA, like time period, and then make a further decision later. Is that what you're saying?
No,
That's the third option, she
that's the
wrote.
third option.
Yes.
Liz, are you able to explain the third option a little bit more in depth, just so everyone is of the
Yeah, and
understanding, please?
Yep, I want to, and that's a fair ask for clarification. And certainly if Mr. Sprout has anything to say about this, this is a second phase of the proceeding. It's kind of like sentencing. He has a right to speak as well. So I welcome that, Mr. Sprout, if you would like to join after I give my 2 cents. The third option that you gentlemen are discussing is that we would make a determination that removal from appointive office was appropriate. So he would be removed of his title as chief of police. He tendered an FMLA request on Thursday. I think that's beyond dispute. And so you would be agreeing that while he's not capable of serving as the chief of police because of the 3 days leading up to that before the FMLA request, that he is due FMLA leave, and you would reserve judgment on termination, it sounds like, because you would wish to see the outcome of treatment and Cody's performance when he returned as an employee who is not the chief of police. That is option 3. And Mr. Sprout, feel free to weigh in there if you think I've misarticulated anything.
No, I believe that's an option under the statutory scheme, and given the prior findings, that is one that we would welcome.
I'll second that, guys. I'd love to prove myself again. Like, I'm honestly, I I really would. So it's up to you guys, though. I just wanted to say that.
I'll make the motion. I'll move that we do option 3. We remove Cody Hallin from the chief position, but we will hold off until FMLA is active or not active or completed before we make any more calls on his work relations with the city. Is that a good enough motion, Liz, or do I gotta clean that up a little bit?
No, no, I think that is sufficient with the other discussion. I understood that. Mr. Sprout, did you understand the nature of that motion?
I do. I think it was said in a fine manner. My only question is the logistics of the decision-making at the end of the FMLA. Are we going to convene again for another meeting, or just how will that be handled?
I think the commission should discuss that. That would be a stay if we were going to reconvene post MLA or FMLA, sorry. That Jaden, you made the motion. Share with us conceptually what you think about that. After FMLA, what happens next under your motion?
I think he can't serve as chief right now, but I think after FMLA is completed, I think we evaluate his success. I think we see how good he's doing. And I think there is very much a possibility that he can still serve a very good role for us, and re-earn the trust and possibly even open up the door for, you know, in employment, promotions and et cetera down the road if he proves that he can handle it, because it wasn't so long ago that we made him chief, and he was handling it, and he was handling it very well. A little bit of a hiccup, but I do believe in second chances, and I do believe that he can beat this and be better. So I would very much like to see the results of that.
So I think that probably answers your question, Mr. Sprout, and we would want to, I mean, Jaden has explained his framework conceptually. To me, what that means from the lawyer's perspective is that the remedy would include removal or stripping of official title as an appointive official. The violations were found, they would be docketed in his employee file. But he would remain with employment of the city. And if there were subsequent violations, that could lead to reprimand. But these particular violations would not serve to terminate him from employment. He would have to commit a new violation. Am I understanding that, Jaden?
Yes, I think that's accurate.
I understand as well.
Jeff, you'll have to break it down a little bit more for me after this so I can kind of understand lawyer term, because
Yeah, we'll talk after the
okay.
meeting.
I will second that motion.
Right, Jane, help me out here. So we got a motion and a second for Chief Halline's removal of his appointed office and title.
Yes.
To stay on, final determination on employment after FMLA has been exhausted.
Liz, could you help me out? What was the thing I said? Because it wasn't
Yeah.
quite exactly like
No,
that.
it would be that the discipline has already ensued for the allegations, Brett, and he would
Right.
remain in the employ of the city is what Jaden's moving. Sorry, I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. But if he committed another violation, of course, that would subject him to other or further discipline contextual to that. But these allegations under Jaden's motion, the penalty is really the removal, and that would be the penalty from a practical standpoint, removal
I
of
think
office.
like is basically to put it, I don't think he has any need to worry about termination over these grounds. His employment at the city is safe when he returns. Am I out of bounds there, Liz? That's pretty much basically what I'm saying, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what you've moved. That's what I understand your motion to be.
And I understood it as you stated it, Liz.
Was it determined by this FMLA results? I mean, after his FMLA, the results of we're gonna interview him and see how he turned out?
There is and I want Mr. Sprout to speak to this because we have a waiver. To be clear, ordinarily we would never discuss medical matters or FMLA. Cody chose to do that, and he made his presentation, and I understand why he chose to do that. There is a process where Cody will have to produce documentation consistent with his MLA paperwork at intervals to be able to articulate that treatment to the city. So if that's what you're asking me, Bob, the answer is yes. He will have to produce paperwork consistent with his FMLA leave grant or recognition. And if there is a problem, certainly I would expect that would be, addressed at that time, but that's not really a decision for tonight.
Thank you, Liz.
I suspect he'd need a medical note to come back to work as well at the end of FMLA leave.
I agree.
Okay, there's my motion. Both legal counsels understand what I mean by that, so.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second at remedy 3, which was removal from chief position, but will continue employment at the city of Tioga. So have some discussion on that.
Your first.
Okay. Well, I'd like to just say that we really have to recognize the seriousness of this situation before us and the responsibility that we have to carry as commissioners to ensure public safety and responsible use of public funds. The obligations require us to ensure critical public safety positions are held by individuals who can consistently meet standards of accountability, communication, reliability, and leadership that those demand. And based on these circumstances, I don't believe that it is appropriate for the individual in question to continue serving in the appointed role of chief of police. The level of trust required for that has been, for the meantime, compromised, and we need dependable leadership in that position. For that reason, I support the removal of the chief position, but I also encourage that the commission consider continued employment in a non-appointed capacity as an option under conditions that that he agrees to going forward. I think there needs to be, I think we have to be firm and fair in what we expect going forward. But in this situation, especially given all the public comment and how many people are, supportive of Cody and how supportive he was to this community and to people, I think that we need to consider compassion and we need to really think about what is just for everybody. But it also needs to be balanced with accountability and public safety. And that means that we can't ignore these serious failures of responsibility. But I do believe removing him from the chief position is necessary, but also we can take a responsible path forward that allows him to right his wrongs and to come back a better guy, because we all seen the guy he was when we appointed him, and he can be that guy again. I'm fairly confident.
Very well stated. I like it.
And I just want to say, Cody, I really appreciate your testimony here and your honesty about something that you are very open about that's embarrassing and it's not fun to talk about. And I just want you to know that these are serious matters, but we do support you and you are our guy.
Jaden, I appreciate that, man. Like I said, I own accountability for my lack of miscommunication, but it was just the embarrassment and guilt of letting everyone down and just things like that that got to me. So I appreciate you guys considering this. So I'll come back better and I'll see you guys when I get out and see you.
Well, we've kind of had long road, Cody and I. We've, as far as him being a patrol officer and then getting interim chief of police, Brett and I, we've worked together many hours, many nights, many phone calls, many meetings, many hours of our time. We've met with Cody. Cody's come over to my house. We've talked, we've texted. I've been a very strong supporter of Cody for a long, long time. And I've lost a lot of sleep over some of our decisions because there's been a lot of people that have not supported our decision. I will say that. But I think Cody is young, but we knew that going in. But we knew how great of a leader Cody could be and the drive and the work ethic he had. And that's why we ultimately picked him as chief of police. He was doing a fantastic job. He was. There's a lot of people in this community that love Cody, that care for him, that he's helped them out in many ways. Some completely unimaginable, We've heard a few stories here tonight. I didn't know them scenarios took place, but that's just, there's many workings that the police department does that are behind the scenes and that sometimes don't go recognized. As far as what's transpired on the 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th, I'm very saddened because I thought that Cody and I were closer. I did. I thought that he would be able to come to me with anything, any issue, whatever it may be. I hope and pray that we can still mend our friendship and continue that. I think as far as, the community, there's a lot of things that Cody has been doing fantastic. And he'll continue to do amazing job with the support that he has here, the support online. It's been a long road, but I'm confident we're standing behind him. I appreciate everything you've said today, Cody, and accepted responsibility. And I hope and pray that we can grow and we can move on from this point. Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle.
I would honestly have to say, especially after hearing what just a couple of the citizens had to say about Cody, that is amazing. And it was said earlier, it's also about all the untold stories as well. And I'm sure there's many, many out there. I think Cody, up until this point, was doing a fantastic job, and I really hope he can get back to that. When he was first picked for this, I know there was a lot of people in the community that didn't necessarily agree, but I think at the beginning there, he really showed them that he was the man for the job. He was our pick. And I hope you understand we are supporting you through this. And I believe all of us up here want to see you back to who you were when you first took the job. And you can always give me a call if you need anything. You have my number. I am always here for you as well.
Thanks, Stephen.
I also feel a lot of remorse. I'm not as mad as I used to be, but I suppose compassion comes both ways. And, yeah, I think, Cody's a good policeman. He's not quite ready for leadership. That's my feeling.
Holy cow. Got a compassionate bunch. Cody, you can understand why I might have a little differing opinion tonight.
I understand it, Brett.
I think, I know that you and I were closer than you might have been with anybody up here. We've had so many conversations about, the core values that we want our young leaders or new leaders to establish and relay into their department. Like I told you. But you've heard me say it a million times. Everybody's heard me say it too. You're my guy, right? Little secret that I probably shouldn't tell, but I will. Cody, that thing I gave you once upon a time that I've been carrying around in my pocket for like a week, right?
It's still sitting on my desk.
What did it say?
Cody Hallin, no matter what.
Cody Hallin, no matter what. Dude, I'm upset with you. You let me down royally. What would have made it way worse was if we actually had an incident happen that night, Monday night, Tuesday night. Let's just say one of my neighbors, my family members, a community member was in a serious pinch. They were held at gunpoint, they were stabbed, they were something, and they needed law enforcement immediately. And then to find out that law enforcement was an hour away. That's if the right people answer the calls. It takes so many calls when you're not responsive. It takes 1 to 911, right? 911 goes to dispatch, for your particular situation, to you, then to Nick, then to Corey, right? We've got so many different timelines that we're wasting time trying to help people. For that reason, I totally agree. You're just not ready to be a chief. But I also remember how good of a patrol officer you were. Little things even. There's some pretty cool examples here where like life-changing instances where you affected people. But I think of the little things like the bike rodeo up at the hospital. And watching all those little kids look up to you, how you were presenting things to them and how much respect they had for you. And that's when I got my respect for you. I just want you to build that back.
I will, Brett. And like I said, man, the reason I didn't reach out to you was just, it was the guilt. It was flat out guilt.
But you gotta understand now, after all this, like, you can reach out to any of us and we're in your corner.
I appreciate that.
So here's another big thing, Cody, and I don't want to beat this to death, but it really caused a ruckus in the community. But what the community was told is we didn't support you at all. You were met with resistance, when in reality, they supported you 1,000%. That's just not the story they were told. And that's where the truth and the honesty and things like that, the high character qualities come into play. Like everything's got to be on point from an honesty perspective. Now, I don't think you're ready to be our chief. I thought that once upon a time. I don't think it right now. Maybe down the road, sure. Let's kick the tires on that until that honesty and trust and integrity can be built back. I think we just try to get you back to work after you heal up and come back to us healthy and happy.
Thanks, Brett.
All right, guys, we got our motion in second still, so let's vote.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion carries. Right, Liz, we moving on to 16?
I think so. Go ahead.
It's so I would like to indicate that the council and the city auditor are directed to prepare findings and conclusions consistent with outcomes of this hearing. Those will be filed in the office of the city auditor and which will be served on Cody by Mr. Sprout. Guys, I'm sorry we kept you so late. It's 11 o'clock. Be that as it may, it makes our lives so much easier when we have people here to talk to and maybe even grab some body language from and help us make decisions for you. We try our darndest not to make any decisions for us. It's got to be for the betterment of the community, no matter what. Cody, Mr. Sprout, everybody, again, thank you for being here. I would love to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll do that. I'll make a motion to adjourn. I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to adjourn. No discussion, let's vote.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. We're adjourned at 11:04 PM.
Thanks, guys. Jeff, I'll give you a call or an email tomorrow.
That sounds good.
Thank you, Liz. Thanks, Liz.